during the meetings with Secretary Blinken, did you raise the issue of F-16 with them in particular, and did they raise the issue of India buying oils and other things from Russia? And secondly, you mentioned about we have a worried international community, as Prime Minister always says, Aapda mein Avshar. What are the opportunities for India in this hour of crisis?
With Secretary Blinken, not just with Secretary Blinken, I think a number of issues pertaining to our neighborhood came up. You can guess the obvious, but I would not like to characterize the discussion in detail because it's a discussion within a closed room. And by the way, that was also applied to the energy scenario as well. In fact, that particular subject, there were a wider set of discussions and consultations involving others beyond state as well. In terms of the, it's a difficult scenario and what are the opportunities, I think today there is an expectation, and here I go back to my UNGA discussion. One of the reasons why there were so many meetings this time, frankly, there was a lot of demand for meetings. Countries wanted to talk to us. And countries wanted to talk to us because there is a belief that we are in touch with key players, we can influence them, we can shape their thinking, we can contribute. We are prepared sometimes to say things which many others cannot say, or reach out to countries and leaders in a way may not be possible for everybody to do so. So I would say there is a more than opportunities for India, because it's a very difficult situation. I think there are contributions that India can make. I think we have today a stabilizing role, we have a bridging role, we have a diplomatic role. We have to really see in economic terms how can we contribute to the de-risking of the global economy. I think in political terms, how can we in some way help depolarize the world. I think those are really expectations that a lot of other countries, especially countries of the global south, have of us. Obviously we will try and do what we can, and we remain in touch with all the important countries of the world in that regard.
Sukhpal Dhanwa.
Thank you, Mr. Master. My question is, thank you, sir. My question is on education. As I've been watching, you were very busy and meeting in New York and here different Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Commerce. Did you get a chance to meet anyone from the Biden administration or any organizations on this education field or that? And second is related to education as well, but that is a not question but concern. As we saw in United States, it has been a long time now, sometimes bullying and those kind of incidents. And recently, one incident happened in North Carolina University. One Sikh, Amritdhari Sikh, was arrested. And I'm glad embassy immediately involved. I got messages, what is happening, and we've been working. So is there any way embassy can take call on those kind of incident, and with Indian American community, we can take some initiative to educate those kind of police and universities? And why I'm talking about this education, I've been watching Ambassador Sandhu was interacting and communicating more than 125 representative or university presidents and so forth. So it will be easy for us to use that platform which he created. Thank you.
The first question in my interactions with the Biden administration, did education come up? Did I interact with anybody dealing with education? The answer is a yes. The education field has different facets to it. One issue right now, for example, is students even getting visas to come to the United States. And the visa issue was something that I took up with the secretary. It came up in the press conference that we did as well, and he explained the compulsions and the constraints on the US, and I think he was very sincere about wanting to rectify the situation. But in terms of students who are here, I think some of the education related issues came up at the roundtable which NSF did. In fact, there were presidents of 2 universities there, apart from officials who dealt with research and education. With Secretary Blinken himself, and I think to a certain extent some of the other secretaries, the issue came up in terms of the link which students provide today between the 2 countries. That if you see what has changed between our 2 countries, and in fact I spoke about this even in my address to the community. What has really changed with India and the United States, apart from the strategic, the political, the leadership, the government guidance, is actually the people to people, the living bridge between us. And at the heart of the living bridge are students. So we today in the Modi government, we give an enormous importance to the welfare and the interests of students. With a number of countries, we are actually negotiating migration and mobility agreements which will allow for opportunities for students to work, to financially support themselves. Where there are concerns on visas, we have addressed them. We actually have within our website a sub-website which is actually dedicated to students. And when there are problems in the United States, I think you have seen the embassy, and sometimes where occasion requires the foreign ministry in Delhi, we take it up. And I think today the strength of our relationship with the United States, it actually allows for very frank and honest conversations, not just on the student issues, I think even on other issues.
If I may just draw your attention, last time when External Affairs Minister was here, he especially went to Harvard University along with Secretary of State, did an education event there, yes, if you remember. I have Rohit Sharma.
Thank you, Minister, for doing this. Vice President Harris is in Japan for the funeral of former Japanese Prime Minister. There she's meeting with the Australian Prime Minister. She's also meeting with the new Japanese Prime Minister, Kishida. Per a senior White House official, she will discuss Quad engagement with them. Given that Indian Prime Minister Modi is also in Japan, any reason why Prime Minister Modi did not get to or did not meet